Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, today is Friday, and I'm about to start my 3-day fasting mimicking diet. That is basically what I'm going to be doing is eating vegetables, some fruit, some sweet potatoes, some mushrooms, what else? A little bit of olive oil, spices, herbs, and I'm going to be having one meal a day, and it's going to be about maybe 700 calories to 1,000. And so it's low protein. It's no animal products, so it's completely vegan, and it's one of the fasts that kind of fasting that people do to improve their health, to increase autophagy or recycling and self-eating of different parts of the cells. And it's something that I do from time to time. At different stages or times in my life or of the year, I feel like doing different things. So I do intermittent fasting almost every single day, probably like once a week. I just do whatever. And I do this kind of fast every month or every quarter, depending on the how restrictive that fast is. And I basically choose what feels right for me right now. Like complete fasting, for example, doesn't feel right, but I do feel like I want to not eat animal products for 3 days. I love animal products, eggs, shellfish, fish, especially things like mackerel, shellfish, or chicken livers, like organ meats. I actually really love them. And they have a lot of nutrients that we need as human beings. But sometimes I just feel like my body needs a little bit of a break and something different. So that's what I'm doing. And today we are talking about different kinds of fasts that I described in Fast This Way book by Dave Asprey. So fast this way, burn fat, heal inflammation, and eat like the high performing human you were meant to be. So different kinds of fasts that you might try. So the popular that you might have heard about, 16-8 fast or lean gains method. Basically, it's eating for 8 hours and not eating for 16 hours, overnight sleep including, of course. So what you do, usually what people do, but you don't have to, some people think that intermittent fasting or 16-8 is skipping breakfast, but actually it's more beneficial to skip dinner. Just for a lot of people, skipping breakfast is so much easier because, you get up, you go to work, you do your thing, and it doesn't require a lot of effort to not think or plan your breakfast. But at night, we usually have our dinner with friends, with our family, or we just like to relax ourselves by ourselves after work and eat that dinner that we can enjoy more slowly and fully. And so for a lot of people, that's why skipping breakfast is easier, not because it actually better, because studies show the opposite, that skipping dinner is better for health, longevity, sleep quality, and a lot of other things. So anyhow, in the book, 16-8 fast is described like skipping breakfast and start your day without food. And then around noon, you start eating your lunch. And then probably most people would have their dinner finished by 8 p.m. if you're someone who goes to bed around 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. because it is recommended to finish your dinner 3 hours before bed or earlier. So, you might also break your fast, let's say at 11 a.m. and you have your lunch and then maybe another kind of little lunch in between, and then you have your dinner by 7 p.m. And so you have 16 hours between 7 p.m. and 11 a.m. Now, there is a version of a 16-8 fast that Dave designed based on his experience, his knowledge, and to make this fast easier, especially for beginners, more tolerable. Also, if you, for example, are planning to have a big day, like there is an event or something in the morning or early afternoon, and you feel like you might need to have more energy. So this fast, the modification of 16-8 fast also can be pretty handy. And then also for women, for a lot of women, myself including doing intermittent fasting with that upgrade bulletproof coffee, having it for breakfast, actually in many examples, it will help to balance your hormones and not mess up your cycle or create other hormonal imbalances, having some sort of calories and ketones in your body fluctuating in that breakfast period. So the modification of 16-8 fast is basically the same fast, but in the morning, instead of just doing pure non-caloric nothing, right, having no breakfast, you have this thing that is bulletproof coffee. You can also Google it. Dave Asprey kind of created it, popularized. He has a bulletproof company, if you aren't familiar with that. What is bulletproof coffee? It is a blended hot coffee, brewed coffee, with a teaspoon of MCT oil and a teaspoon of grass-fed butter. If you aren't familiar with the terms MCT oil and grass-fed butter, just Google them. But basically, MCT is a modified version, extracted or purified version of coconut oil that seems to be better metabolized for energy. Then coconut oil and grass-fed butter is basically real butter from grass-fed cows. So here you go, 16-8 fast, but with bulletproof coffee in the morning. That's going to be your bulletproof intermittent fasting. And again, good for beginners, for starters, for women who usually have hormonal issues when they start fasting, and when you're about to have a big day. So might be a good modification. The 5-2 fast, it's kind of fasting mimicking diet more than it's fast. It's kind of what I'm going to do, but instead of doing 2 days, I'm going to be doing 3 days. So the 5-2 fast, or the fast diet, is basically eating your normal diet 5 days of the week, and then for a couple of days that usually follow each other, you eat 500-600 calories. And usually, of course, you're trying to focus on healthy foods, like I already mentioned, like vegetables, beans, pulses, fruit, sweet potatoes, things like avocado or olive oil. You would probably usually avoid all animal products because for this diet and for fasting mimicking diets in general, it is kind of recommended and assumed that on these days you're going to be restricting your protein a lot. And protein, of course, is more concentrated in animal foods. And that's why you want to limit those, not plant foods. But anyhow, 5-2 diet, in its purest form, it actually doesn't require you to do any specific food restrictions. What it does require you to count your calories. So 500-600 calories on that day, on those 2 days, and then 5 days you eat as normal. That specific protocol, 5-2 fasting, it's more of a weight loss thing because especially if you don't restrict your animal protein or other foods, then what you're doing, the only thing you're doing really is restricting your calories, not starting other metabolic recovery and repair processes. So if you're interested just in weight loss, and of course there are probably going to be some health benefits, but not so many if you don't restrict any foods, just the calories. So 5-2 diet worked for a lot of people. 1 meal a day, or OMAD, or however you pronounce it. So that's basically eating once a day. For how long that one meal takes, 1 hour, 2 hours, depends how fast, how you eat, how big your meal is. And usually people do it every other day or a couple of times a week. Dave does not recommend to do it more than 3 times per week, and I tend to agree. I tried OMAD, or 1 meal a day, for quite a while, and I wasn't able to do it more than, a couple of days per week. Otherwise, it just feels really, it feels more stress than anything. And to do that, every single day, it made me obsess about food. So that never worked for me. Some people think that I do kind of like 1 meal a day because at first I eat fruit, then I eat some kefir with some nuts and seeds, some flax seeds, some other stuff, and then I eat like the biggest meal of the day. But that's not really 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day is when you're just having, one kind of eating instance in your day. And it seems to, boost mitochondrial performance, or basically your energy that you have, that your body creates every day, autophagy, or self-eating, self-repairing mechanisms in your cells. And it repairs your DNA, seems to, reduces the risk of chronic diseases down the road. And of course, you're probably going to lose some weight. And it does offer some additional benefits to 16-8 fast. But again, with fasting, especially with prolonged fast, you don't want to be overdoing it. And with 1 meal a day specifically, a lot of people trying to do that, and then people end up not eating nowhere near nutrients, vitamins and minerals, and even proteins and fats and everything, their nutritional needs. So if you are thinking about doing 1 meal a day, you got to understand that in that meal, it's pretty hard to squeeze in all the nutrition you need. And if you think, I'm just going to have my regular 1 meal a day, well, you're basically going to be starving yourself after a while, because again, it's quite hard, almost impossible, to squeeze in all of your food in 1 meal a day, unless you do it, 1-2 times per week. That can be fine. And then on other days, you'll eat your normal nutrition. So 1 meal a day might be great, but please do not overdo it, especially women. Then, your hormones can go out of balance a lot. I had quite a few women who were trying successfully, I might say successfully, quote unquote, to do 1 meal a day type of fasting. But then, it's like, my period disappeared, or I'm having all these obsessive thoughts about food, or my energy is nowhere, like I'm always low on energy, or I can't sleep, or my hair starting to fall out, things like that. That is not good news. And so it means that you need to stop that kind of fasting, whatever it is you're doing. So 1 meal a day. Let's get to so about the negative effects of fasting, I'm going to read to you something from the book. When you know that it's not working, if you are not sleeping well, or you are feeling sluggish, weak, constantly tired, your body is basically telling you that you need more energy more often. And for women specifically, it might really interrupt a lot of hormonal balances and processes. So if your period, disappeared or became erratic, then probably that kind of fasting is too much for your body. So you gotta do something else. Or just, eat a balanced diet, fast for 12, 13 hours a day, and that might be enough and good enough for you. So other types of fasting. Spontaneous meal skipping. Well, that's exactly what it sounds like. It means you skip a meal once in a while, or every other day, whatever works for you. Maybe breakfast, maybe lunch, maybe dinner. Probably with skipping meals, it's always best to skip dinner for a lot of reasons, but that's going to improve your sleep quality, your energy levels the next day, and might even put you in ketosis more, depending on the foods that you are eating during the day. It also, if, it happens naturally to you, you skip a meal once in a while. It's a good way to manage the amount of foods you eat, might even have some weight loss effects, again, depending on the rest of the week, obviously, but that's what also some people do. Eat, stop, eat. That the primary focus of this fast is 24-hour periods of complete fasting per week. So what it means is, for example, on Monday you decided to do this fast. So you fast from Sunday dinner to Monday dinner. Then you have your dinner, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe on Friday, you decided to do that again. And then Thursday dinner to Friday dinner, you again are fasting, and that's going to be eat, stop, eat. But those names, they just names that industry came up with. They don't mean much. Alternate day fasting, that actually one has been researched the most for different health benefits. And what it basically means is every other day you fast for 24 hours. So it doesn't have to be the whole day, but 24 hours. So for example, on Monday, Sunday evening or Sunday breakfast to Monday breakfast, you decide to fast for 24 hours. Then you have the next day you eat as normal on Monday, let's say, and then on Tuesday, you're having a breakfast, and then till Wednesday breakfast, or it can be breakfast to breakfast, dinner to dinner for 24 hours, or lunch to lunch, whatever. But yeah, one day you fast for 24 hours, you have your meal, the next day you eat as normal, and then the next day you start your 24-hour fasting again. So that's alternate day fasting. It has a lot of weight loss benefits, but also a lot of health benefits, like preventing degenerative diseases, improving your insulin sensitivity, blood pressure, like all these different biomarkers of health and longevity. And then we have water fast. That's exactly what it sounds like, consuming nothing but water for a certain amount of time. Might be really beneficial for your weight loss, but it also might be one of the most not pleasant one, especially if you decided to go completely 100% water, no electrolytes, no like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, no vitamins to support your metabolism while you aren't having any food. That might be really difficult and tough, especially to start with, but that might produce the most benefits. And in that fast, again, water fast, you don't consume anything, no, artificial sweeteners or milk in your coffee or anything, and that probably will produce the most weight loss. Of course, unless you start eating like crazy the next day and the day before. With fasting in general, you don't want to be in a place where you use fasting as an excuse to eat whatever on other days. So for example, if you fast and then you eat junk food diet, then you fast again and you eat junk food diet again, well, that's not going to work too well, guys, because you're not going to be getting your nutrition from this junk food diet. And then on fasting days, all your body will be doing is trying to detoxify itself, and it's gonna feel really sucky on those days when your body has to deal with a lot of junk, getting rid of that. And plus, a lot of benefits of fasting come from refeeding with good quality foods after your body ate some of your damaged components or some of your tissues. But if you never do a good quality refeed with high quality foods, then all your body is going to be doing is breaking down stuff and getting rid of toxins. And in the long run, that can actually backfire with a lot of health problems, not with health benefits. So using fast as an excuse to eat whatever on other days, not a good strategy. Also, not a good strategy to to just fast more all the time. More isn't better. Dave says that in his book many times, and I completely agree from my coaching practice and my personal practice as well. Some of us, I did that. We start fasting and we love it so much, then we think more is probably better. And then we start it and then we don't have any energy. We can't sleep. Our workouts suffer and your mood is always, low, or you're feeling like you're stressed. And like my hair started to fall out. So that happened to me too. And then your cycle starts to suffer, or like for guys, it has a lot to, you might start losing your hair and your muscle mass, then you might accumulate actually some belly fat because of that too much fasting. So too much fasting isn't good enough, guys. If you are having all these negative side effects, then it is too much and you gotta change something. Again, so fasting, too much isn't better. It's gotta be balanced with a well-balanced, nutritionally adequate diet. So one piece of advice from myself personally: fasting does not cancel your nutrition needs. If you decide to do 1 meal a day fasting every single day, and every single day you aren't eating what your body needs, like protein, fats, but also vitamins and minerals, there are so many and they are so hard to eat, even when you eat 3 meals a day. And now you're doing 1 meal a day and you think that's going to solve all the problems. Most of the problems actually in our modern society, for people who aren't in danger of starvation but have access to any food they want, most problems are from nutrient deficiencies, unbalanced diet. For people obviously who don't care about their diet, they just eat whatever junk and never, get a lot of calories and junk calories and nowhere near nutrients they need, vitamins, minerals, and all the other stuff. And then for people who are into health and into fasting, sometimes what happens is we start restricting too much stuff. And then we end up deficient in many nutrients because we eliminate so much stuff. I kid you not, guys. Some clients come to me and they're like, can you help me create a well-balanced diet? But I want to be keto and paleo and dairy-free, and I also want to be plant-based, and I also don't eat nightshades, and I also don't eat cruciferous vegetables, and I also don't eat nuts and seeds, and I also don't eat shellfish and eggs. And I kid you not, that happened. And basically there is no solution to that. You can't eliminate all the foods and hope to create a balanced diet with just a lot of fasting. No, human beings do not live on fasting. We need, or on air, we need energy and nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients in the form of foods. And it's not actually that easy to get all of that if you don't do any planning and you don't know anything about diet and nutrition, and you just, do whatever, 1 meal a day, anything goes. So yeah, that's not going to work. Just a word of caution. Guys and women especially, we are more sensitive to that. We need to accept that and build our fasting practice around that. And if you want to know more about women's fasting, please listen to the episode we did yesterday that was specifically dedicated to intermittent fasting for women, from millennials like myself to pre-menopause, perimenopause, and menopause. So it's a little bit different. And the last piece of advice on fasting: experiment. There are different kinds of fasting and you can get a lot of benefits from most of them. If not the same benefits, then very similar benefits. Also, don't forget that you can always supplement with different things that are proven to help with fasting experience and even enhance it. So for more details, you can reach out to me. I'm also actually taking a course with Precision Nutrition on intermittent fasting coaching. So I'm getting a lot into details, who's fasting for, who's it's best for, who it's not best for. Like, for example, athletes who want to compete, or super lean individuals, or people who want to use fasting to live forever. That's probably not the best way, like, to use fasting as a tool. Anyhow, a lot of interesting stuff I'm learning. Also, don't forget to pick up this amazing book. I really loved it. Personal story of Dave, how he started his whole fasting journey and how it transformed his whole life. And then, of course, a lot of practical takeaways, like all kinds of fasting and supplements, all kinds of different supplements you can use for different purposes. Fasting for women and fasting traps. And it's an amazing book, guys. So Fast This Way, pick it up, by Dave Asprey. It's available everywhere where books are sold. And if you have any questions, you'd like to learn how to coach for your goals, for your lifestyle, for your health situation, personality, your gender, if you'd like to be coach and have someone to guide you through this journey more professionally, so please reach out. I'm here to help. I'm qualified to help. And what else? Share this episode, guys. Together we learn, we practice better. Together everything is better. So share. And that's it for today. Have an awesome weekend. Do some fasting. And as usual, until next time, eat better daily.